We are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 124 of the Hunger for the Hustle podcast. It is my pleasure to welcome a lady that has been waiting to get on the show for quite a while, actually. Lori Bruton, one of our First to Success books. We've known each other for a couple of years. We met each other under the teachings of Les Brown and John Tallarico. Lori, it's a pleasure to welcome you on the show. It's been a long time coming. Great to have you with us.
Thank you, Jake. I'm glad to be here.
Now, Lori, your chapter in the book is called The Night I Slayed My Enemy in a Church Parking Lot. One that really is about struggles to success. But before we get into that, I wanted to let you tell the audience about yourself, who you are, and what you do.
All right. I'm Lori Bruton. Think of it as brewing a ton of coffee. And I am mother, author, speaker, travel freelance writer. Little bit about me, love to bake, dark chocolate, travel, beaches, and all of that. So all that keeps me busy. I like to, variety's the spice of life. So I like to keep things interesting and different and always trying new things.
I like that, Laura. It's a good way to be and a good way to live. And you teach and live and breathe something called the Lori Factor. Can you tell us? I know what the Lori Factor is, but I'd love it if you could tell the guys watching and listening what the Lori Factor is and how it came about, actually, as well.
Yes, that's quite the story. So the Lori Factor was born when I had an interview with Les Brown. And he asked me, what was a defining moment in your life? A moment where after that, nothing was ever the same. And what I thought of at that moment, I'm like, oh my goodness, did I say that out loud? So I told him my defining moment, which was the moment I ended up face down in a church parking lot. Now that's crazy, isn't it? And what got me there is quite a story. But from that story, and I'm still here to tell you about it, Les took that story and helped me create the Lori Factor to then give people hope and to choose life. So would you like me to tell you what the LORI in the Lori Factor stands for?
Yes, please, of course.
All right. Well, L is having a larger vision of yourself beyond your circumstances. And O is having an optimistic spirit. R is reinvent yourself. And I is invest in yourself. And there's those four core principles. I dive deeper into that in my book and in courses and resources. And it all ends up showing people how to live the life they were born to live.
Fantastic. And I think it's brilliant. We both did that training with Les Brown, and so did many of the people that are actually in the book. And I came out with Hunger for the Hustle. You came out with the Lori Factor. Some people already developed them. Some came out with them from as a result of the program. But I mean, the important thing is that we're sharing them now with the world through our books, through podcasts like this, and through just living them out ourselves, which, you literally do live out the Lori Factor. I literally do live and breathe. That we were taught by our teachers to find our message and then to hone it and then to deliver it to the world. It's a liberating thing, and it's something that adds a lot of value to our lives and in turn to others as well. So it's a fantastic thing. Now, Lori, look, I wanted to talk about your creative process for writing your chapter. Your chapter, the night I slayed my enemy in the church parking lot, is of course pretty. You went all the way there. Like I mentioned, it seemed like a very challenging time and a very difficult time, and I mean, the R in the Lori Factor rebirth really is a story of rebirth. So, I mean, I'd love for you to get into a little bit of the story, of course, but to tell us about did you know that was going to be the first, that's when I asked you to write a chapter in this book, was that the first story that came to mind and the first thing that you went with?
I'd say yes, because again, that tied into the defining moment when I spoke with Les, prior to that. And I thought, it was hard. I had to find the courage and to be brave and raw, real, and authentic to even put it out there, because, the shame, the guilt, where I ended up, and it was the lowest of the low. I mean, I was just rock bottom, hit rock bottom at that point in my life. And it caused a ripple effect in a bad way, because it affected my family and it just all the people around me. So I felt like other people have probably been in that place, and where you just feel like there's no way out. You're at the end of your rope and you just want the pain to stop and you just don't know what to do next. And I want to encourage anybody who is there now or has been, there is hope, to have faith, hope, and there's love like never before. And I like to tell people about the greatest love of all. And I'll keep that a secret for now, but that it is there. And some people, depending what they choose, they might not even know what I'm talking about. But that's what saved me. And I'm so glad I'm here to tell it. But yeah, I slayed that enemy in that parking lot. I ended up getting up. And like Les Brown says, if you fall, land on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up.
That's right. That's right. And you quite literally did that. And how did it feel? Like you say, you do have to be courageous to be able to share your story in the depths of it. And some of it, that's obviously it was a difficult thing to share because it was a difficult time for that story. I know from my perspective, when I shared parts of my life that I thought perhaps would be embarrassing or scary, or would need a lot of courage to share, I actually found them quite liberating, and like it was a release once I shared them. Did you find the same feelings?
Yes, it was almost, I'd say, a healing process as I wrote the story, because I was actually writing, the whole book of the Lori Factor. and I was honored to have Les Brown write the foreword for that book. So everything fit together, and I thought that was like the defining moment in my life. So I knew that chapter in particular was the right one that needed to be told, and in Hunger for the Hustle.
And so how long did it take you to write your chapter? It's quite a short chapter, but it's a very high quality one. So I'd love to know. And did you get any?
So how long did it take me to write my chapter? Well, time is an illusion to me and my type of personality. So I can't give you a certain amount of minutes, but I know when I started to write it, it just poured out of me. It flowed out of me. And writing is my passion and my gift. So, and it was at first quite an emotional journey as I wrote it. and it came out, so it was like, okay, there it is. Now it's in black and white, like pen to paper. So, but I knew the story needed to be told. So how long in time? I can't really say. All I know, when I was ready and it needed to come out of me, it just poured out. And then, of course, from there, you let it sit, and then you, with fresh eyes, reread it and then make edits as necessary.
Yeah, it's almost similar to cooking a good meal, isn't it? You prepare it, you work on it, you cook it, you get the meal's ready, you let it sit, you let it cool down for a little while, and you taste it. And you might add some spices, some salt, some pepper in there afterwards. Was it all written by yourself? Did you have anyone look over it for you afterwards or edit it?
Well, I'd say I did write it myself, but then it always is good to have other eyes. So I had some other people read it over and make suggestions and edits from there. So that's always a good thing to do, because when you're so close to your own story, you might not see how to make it better or what to change, or did you leave out an important piece that you didn't even think of. So yes, that always helps to have fresh eyes on it.
Yes, yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree more. And I know on my chapter, I had a copyist on my chapter. She helped me to go who'd written her own books before, which I found particularly useful. Who were the people that helped you get eyes on yours? Whether they family members or friends or?
Well, other writer friends mostly, so they were familiar with, the writing process and all of that. Probably, I was trying to think back. It seems like it's been a while, so I probably had some other friends and family maybe take a look at it. So I don't really remember. It was all been a journey. And of course, again, it started out as quite a stirring up of emotions.
Hasn't it?
And then you get to the point where it's like you can look at it and read it as a witness. Like you can almost step back and be like, I think of myself, who was that girl? And I'm glad she's dead and gone. So I love the transformation that came out of it from me personally. And then it can lead to other people and their transformation and their journey of hope and transformation, basically.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's true what they say. Your mess becomes your message, and your test becomes your testimony. And I think it's fair to say both of those things. You were in a bit of a mess, and you certainly were going through a test as well. So, and what were the things that help you get out of that space of alcoholism and drinking, being dependent on alcohol to numb the emotions and feelings of the previous trauma? What were the things that helped you? I think there'd be a lot of that. I'll know someone that is, to give some tips on that.
Oh boy. Well, it was definitely an unbelievable situation, because I was actually taking a class at a particular church to learn how to help other people. But during that process, all these things I had buried started coming out, like, death and divorce and depression and all of that. And so it turned out all my own stuff I had buried is what made that whole breakdown happen. And what got me out, I can only give one credit, because at that time I let go of God. And it's by the grace of God I got up, I'm still alive, and Jesus is like healer. He's the one true God. And when I let go, it like life doesn't work. without him. So he's got all the glory, all grace and mercy on my life. And obviously, there's a mission and an assignment he has for me. So that's why I felt like writing this book was a divine assignment, and the chapter in The Hunger for the Hustle.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It's the world wasn't finished with you yet. You were born on purpose, for a purpose, with a purpose, and through going through that struggle, you found out what that purpose was. So it's actually it's a tough journey, but with a beautiful result. Now let's switch gears here, Lori, because there's something I'm really excited to talk to you about. You are a freelance travel writer, and I love traveling. I spent a lot of time traveling lately, almost a year actually, until I returned to the US. So we've all been restricted by traveling the last few years. Of course, no one really traveled for that 2-year period. Although there were some people still traveling, I heard about. The smart ones probably doing it for very cheap. But of course, for the whole of it, most of us, there wasn't a lot of travel going on in that time. A lot of people have been making up for that look.
Yeah, so let me tell you about my travel writing. That's one of my favorite things to talk about. And what I really love is, especially through this journey, health and specifically mental health, and how travel actually helps improve your mental health, your well-being. And that is what my journey is now. That is what I offer people, to show them how to get happy and stay happy. And that one of those things is travel. The other thing is you got to be well to travel. So there's certain parts of people's lives that, okay, where are you now? Where do you want to be? Here's what I can do to help you get there. So I have tools and resources to, make the greatest travel experiences and get yourself feeling better, better your best. And I have ways to do that. So I really hope people who are interested in really living the life they were born to live, if they love travel and they want to up their wellness game, I have some really valuable tools and resources for that. And recently, October, with specifically the travel writing. So I have articles published in different publications. In the January issue of our Rochester Women Online magazine, I will be featured in that magazine. And then I write freelance for other things. In October, I went on a press trip to Outer Banks, North Carolina. And there'll be a couple of my stories I wrote on their blog probably next year sometime, but they've been submitted. So anything writing and poems, I love to write poems. But anyway, in fact, I got to tell you this, Jake. Last night, my son and daughter-in-law went with me to this local restaurant called Mission Barbecue. Oh my gosh, not only the food was great, but it's all about military and veterans and first responders and how they honor them. And they even stop at noon every day to play the national anthem. So I had the opportunity to interview the owner, Darren, and he told me like how it started and what's it all about. So I just love to always be looking for stories and telling other people's stories and promoting them as well, and just getting the word out. So that's fun.
Yeah, no, I love that. So has most of your travel been inside America, or have you traveled outside America as well? Because I know a lot of Americans, America's big enough just to stay there. Every state's like a different holiday destination. So I think that I can see why a lot of Americans don't leave, and that's how it is. But have you left America much, or has most of your travel been inside America?
Well, most of it's been inside America so far. However, I was to the Riviera Maya. Let's see. I think that was around 2018. I'd have to look. Dates, whatever. But around there. And I loved that trip. I got to experience a lot there. And I was walking up from the ocean up to the pool. And I don't know what happened. All of a sudden I slipped. And there I was in doing the splits, which I hadn't done the splits since high school. So it's like, oh my gosh, can I even get up right now? So I even wrote a blog about it. So a lady came up, right? And she's like, oh, do you know what's in this drink or some question like that? I said, I don't know. I just fell. I'm trying to get up. She goes, have you been drinking? I said, no. She goes, maybe you ought to start. So I titled that blog, Slip, Slide, and Ole. And I also am planning.
That's brilliant.
Yes. And I'm planning another trip to Cancun area, probably around February. So.
Brilliant. Yeah, I've heard that's a great place. I know a few people have been there. Find that.
I really love to visit Australia sometime. My daughter-in-law, she's been there years ago on a people-to-people trip, and she just loved the area. And she said it's one of the greatest experience, changed her life. So she can't wait to show me and my son, what that's all about. So we'll be down under at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, I look forward to seeing you here. It's a great place, and especially if you love nature, it's a beautiful place for that. There's very well set up for you to explore the nature, lots of trails, lots of national parks, and lots of wildlife as well. So yeah, it's a great place for all of those things.
Yes, I definitely like all that.
So Laurie, Cancun's going to be next, and then what else is? Yeah. So what else is next for you, for Laura? This book is out now. Of course, the physical book's going to be out in the new year. The audio book's going to be out in the new year. So we kind of roll in working with that. But what else is happening? We're always working on some kind of project.
So right now, yes, I'm doing mostly travel writing. I do some virtual assistant work here and there. And I'm looking really with my message and my resources, to connect with more people who want what I have, or at least are open to knowing more about it. So that's the other main thing I'd like to do, because otherwise, why let the book sit on the shelf? Or, people who want to know more. I was invisible and I was silent for too long. So that's my main mission, is to see who I can help with what I have.
Your chapter that you wrote has, who's it really speaking to, and how do you hope that it can help them?
I'd say it's speaking mostly to women. I don't like to niche it down too much, but probably baby boomer age women, but not exclusively. I really like to reach out to the younger people too, so that they can know what I didn't know back then, and not have to go through some of the pain and trials and tribulations. I mean, there's always some of that in everybody's life, but mostly I'd say women, maybe even like single or divorced, and that have had some struggles, and to show them, hey, let me pull you out of the pit, or at least guide you, and show you what's possible, and not leave you stuck there. I like to help people get unstuck and get on their transformation journey. And so I'd say that's like the main people that would probably want what I have. But I love hanging around the younger people, honestly. That's what my grandfather always did. He's like, he would tell people his age and they wouldn't believe him. So then he'd say like 20 years younger. Well, we thought so because you are who you hang around. So you stay young by hanging around younger people. So that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's right. I like that. That works. We've got one of your fans on here, Laurie. I'm not sure how well this is going to show up, but someone in the comments, there you go, saying you look great, and I think you do. I agree with that. You look fabulous today, Laurie. So
Thank you.
I'm not sure who that is actually. If they
Yeah, it's just
care
it says
to tell
Facebook.
us their name. Maybe it's someone we know. Maybe they want to. Maybe they want to keep their animosity, which is fair enough. So guys, I'm going to put a link in the comments here so you can get your copy of the book for, as you can see at the bottom of the screen here, just $2.99. It is available on Amazon. It is an ebook. The physical book will be out in the new year, as well as the audio book, where Lori will be speaking her own chapter, as well as myself and all the other authors. So if you're looking for something to take you to a place that you can't find within yourself, to inspire you, to motivate you, to drive you to be better and bigger than you already are, then this is the book that is going to do that for you. And Lori's chapter is also going to help you do that, as well as all the other 27 authors. So Lori, anything to add before we leave the show?
I just want to say thank you to you and all that worked, oh my goodness, tirelessly to get this book out and into the world and to touch hearts and just, oh my goodness, it's going to inspire, encourage so many people. And I just want to shout out to all the other authors. All your stories are amazing. I'm glad we could come together and collaborate and get this out there. And again, anybody who resonates with my story or you have questions, anything you want, feel free to reach out on social media or whatever's most convenient. So I look forward to hearing from any of you that would like to know more.
Fantastic. I've put Lori's links to her website and her Facebook in the comments here. It's loribruton.com or facebook.com/Lori Bruton Biz, spelled just as you can see, RIBRUTON.com. Lori, thanks for joining me, and thanks for listening, folks, wherever you are. If you've got some value from the show, give it a like, give it a subscribe, give it a share. Stay healthy, stay happy, stay hungry, and keep on hustling, folks. Thanks, Lori.